Roy, do you have sympathy with the captain having to come out after so many times this season and in previous seasons, not just under Ruben Amorim, and make excuses for the performance?
Yeah, it's not easy. To be fair to Bruno, he does front up and he does come out, and obviously the club push him out because he's the best player and he's the captain. Of course, it's important what he says, but to me, it's kind of just sound bites now from him. Let's hope they win on Thursday, by the way. My goodness, that's all they're talking about. Thursday. They're saying Lyon, I think Lyon are 6 in the French league, so I'd fully expect Man United to beat Lyon at home on a Thursday. But yeah, he's talking about his teammates there and belief and all. But what about his right back who didn't put a leg out or try and tackle for the goal, Dalot? I hope he's pulling him in the dressing room, because he keeps talking about, yeah, I have belief in the players and or my teammates. A real good teammate puts demands on each other, whether that's out on the pitch or in the dressing room or on the training ground during the week. I suppose it's called the culture at your football club. So when I listen to Bruno now, and I've been harsh on Bruno, an amazing player, but I still have question marks about his leadership, even when I watched him there in the bigger picture, and he's doing his usual stuff. But he's certainly not getting any help around him. You know, it must be tough playing in that midfield when the expectation on him is to turn up week in, week out, and obviously that's unfair on him, because when you're playing for a big club like Man United, you need a helping hand. But now when he's doing the chats about the supporters and all this, again, to me, it's just sound bites. There's not even meaning to it, because I don't know how we can listen to the United players doing interviews anymore, because I'm not sure they're an honest group. So why should we listen to? I don't think we're going to get real honesty from this group of players when we're not seeing it week in, week out. Bruno's mentioned, it's always interesting when you're playing for a big club. They talk about they have turned up in certain games, but as if they pick and choose their games, Kelly. As if they pick and choose the games. Oh, it's Man City or it's Liverpool. Your mindset playing for Man United should be every game's a big game. So today wasn't a big game. Is that the attitude of some of them? But Thursday's a big game. I think you're in trouble if you start picking and choosing what you think is a big game. Your whole attitude should be, again, when you're playing for Man United, every game is a big game. And you go out and give your all. And the second half, for certainly a spell in this game, Man United, when they were giving the ball away cheaply and people not making tackles and making demands on each other. And again, we're at the game live, so we can see the bigger picture. Sometimes you don't see it in the television, and people not covering for each other, people not putting demands on each other. The best players I played with put demands on me, and they wouldn't tolerate me cutting corners. And as you become a player and you play 50, 100, 200 games, so then you put them demands on other people. That's what really good teammates do. They don't let you away with it. They're not teammates, they're bluffers. And this group, again, they lost 14 league games this season. They've lost 14 last year. Everyone can have a difficult spell. So what do we expect when the players come out and chat after games? They're media trained. They'll be told stuff to say. They talk about the pundits or ex-players. We're here to give an opinion. But I'd love to be sitting there at Man United winning 3-0. You go, hey, this is great to watch. Everything you want to see in a team. But I don't see it with this group of players, and I've seen it too many times now. Too many times for it to be a bit unlucky, or you can have a difficult spell. This has been going on for a few years now. But what's got them out of trouble over the last few years? Obviously, the cup runs. They've had some good cup runs. But going on cup runs is like Man United from the 80s. You don't want to be a cup run. You want to be a cup team. You want to turn up week in, week out and compete for the big prizes. And still try and win cups, obviously. But your bread and butter, I can repeat myself all the time, your bread and butter is what you do day in, day out at your football club. And whatever these players and the manager and the coaches are doing at the training ground day in, day out isn't enough, because we're not seeing it out there. We saw Newcastle, they were at it. They looked full of energy. All we heard before the game was about resting players, and the manager, Bruno, talking about next Thursday. What about today's match? Does that mean anything to anybody? Because what's the point in us turning up here?
Les raised the question earlier, is what changes do they make for the game against Lyon in terms of the personnel that mean that they're going to look better than they did against Newcastle? Point. Anana comes in goal. No, maybe Casemiro, maybe Maguire. These one or two players, but they're not. It's not Ronaldo and Rooney coming back into the team, and I mean Ronaldo and Rooney in their prime, not now. So that's the stranger bit about it. You're thinking, who, have I missed somebody? Who's waiting to come into the team that you're going, hey, he's world class, or he's going to be the difference? I know there's some experience to come into the team, and United are home on a Thursday night to Lyon. I expect Man United to win that game. I wouldn't be sitting back and going, oh, hey, listen, we've got Lyon at home, yeah, and we'll roll our sleeves up and we'll take care of them. Again, Lyon are 6th in the French league. United made a couple of mistakes the other night. They would have won the game. So just to dismiss today's match, I don't think it's good.
That's my opinion.
Is there a possibility of prioritising, Les, that allows Manchester United to keep a certain level of momentum, of psychological momentum as much as anything? Or do you think conversely, do you think it's damaging to go into the game against Lyon off the back of a 4-1 defeat?
That's what I was going to talk about, the fact that you've lost 4-1 and the manner in which you've lost 4-1. You know, you can lose a game and go, look, we was unlucky. You know, yeah. Now let's look at Thursday. And I know that's all they've been talking about. Let's look at Thursday. Look at Thursday. But the momentum, you've got no momentum going into Thursday. You've thrown all your eggs into one basket, and that's the only basket you've got. So you have to throw your eggs into that basket. But I just can't sit here and I think to myself, it's not a tap. If you play like that, you can't turn it on and turn it off and say, right, do you know what? We're going to be a different Man United on Thursday. I don't see it happening. I just see you going into after a performance like that. I don't know what level you think you're going to get to play on Thursday. You're talking about, Lyon 6th in the division, but they'll be coming to Manchester United seeing this tonight and thinking, we've got a chance of beating Man United. So they ain't coming to Old Trafford thinking, do you know what, we got no chance of winning here. They'll believe they can beat Manchester United looking at that performance today.
You said you don't think as a group they have a strong mentality. How do they even set about switching that and changing the mentality?
I don't know. I think what does help, if you start getting some sort of results, or you dig in when you're up against it, get some sort of spirit in the group. I don't want to use the dreaded word, recruitment. Do they get players in the summer? Again, lads who are robust, who know the league. Because, the majority, the percentage of players they've brought in over the last year or two aren't used to the Premier League. And I think it's cut a lot of them out. I think you have to get some players who are used to the Premier League, who've played 100 or 200 games.
And there as well, Roy, how much can they spend in the summer? Because what you're going to lose, what you're going to sell, because we're talking about PSR, we're talking about financial fair play, what can they spend in the summer? So you can have a group of players and say, right, these group of players ain't right for me, I need new. But you ain't going to be replacing 11 players in that squad there. You're not going to be able to do that because you ain't going to have the money to do that.
And even the recruitment side of it, we're talking about you always hope that you're getting quality players into United, the money they've spent, but getting it to the right characters. We hear about clubs recently, their recruitment, and Liverpool look at it, and Brentford, and it's about the character, and it's about the play, Bournemouth, recruitment. They've got to be able to play and play at the highest level, but whereas this group don't show that. They're not robust. They don't kind of roll their sleeves up and dig out results. I don't see. Every now and again we do, and they'll pick up a good result like they did at City, and they get a draw at Liverpool. But then other teams recently go to Old Trafford. Every team's getting a bit of joy because there's no, even in Newcastle in the second half, there were just gaps everywhere. They're running through United. United don't even look big and strong. You look at certain teams in the Premiership and you hang your hat on certain things. You go, well, they're big and strong, or they're technically brilliant, or you look at Liverpool, they tick a lot of boxes. But you look at United going, well, what would you hang your hat on? What would you say they're really, really good at? They've not got a world-class striker. They haven't got a strong spine. They're not athletic. And I keep saying, see, look at United, I'm not sure what they're kind of good at. They're not really good at anything. They've got some half-decent players. But again, what's the saying? The league, the table doesn't lie. We look at United on the table, but forget about the table. It's all about Thursday. Good luck on Thursday.